All right, so let's get into the papers. I have the Mirror. Trailblazer in sports physiotherapy, Professor Jonathan Korte, they're shining on light on him. Weight loss surgery, not shortcut to body enhancement. Dr. Ameniampon is the one saying that. Rising interest in cremation faces legal challenges at Osu Cemetery. And on the back page, you'll see Emmanuel entry. The Mirror Sports, they're throwing a light on him. He's a midfielder in Ukumapema Apembeba Kotoko. He was also a former great Olympics team. Also, The Spectator, Chiefs, Queen Mothers Not Evil. Other stories you'll find. Next of kin has no automatic access to bank accounts. Sikaman Palava, that's on page 8. Professor Raphael Nyakote Ubu, first natural medicine lawyer in Africa, according to The Spectator. On the back page, Nations FC next in line to hurt Kotoko. Give local players the chance now. Right? What do you have?
So on the Daily Graphic Weekend special, this one says prostate cancer can't be prevented. That's coming from an expert, Professor Joel Yani, Director of Population Health Science, Kolebu Teaching Hospital. Also here, EC starts election 2024 staff training. I'll bring you excerpts of that one. On the back page, Ghana miss out on 2025 AFCON. Black Stars draw 1-1 with Angola. Very sad and very disappointing. But I know these are the big front page stories on Daily Graphic Weekend Special.
Let me take you to ChannelOneNews.com. The one is the digit 1, ChannelOneNews.com. 2 injured in clash between immigration officers and residents at Shia. EC to reprint ballots for Ahafo, Volta regions over serialisation errors. Baumia's free dialysis promise, a mere campaign gimmick, Akando. Election 2024 will establish public universities in 6 new regions. That's according to Mahama. Urban planning expert warns of looming transport crisis in Ghana. Vacant seats, majority decision and aberration to establish judicial practices. Justice Tanko Amadu. Other stories, Balmia's free dialysis promise, a mere campaign gimmick. Donald Trump sues media outlets. Your favorite Donald Trump sues media outlets.
I'm not sure if he's my favorite, but
in $10 billion lawsuit.
He's definitely the favorite of the American people. So
Ghana earns $800 million through carbon trading. Akufo-Addo says so. 5 takeaways from Trump's first week as president-elect. Russian woman jailed for 8 years for demanding Putin's death over Ukraine war. Election 2024. Don't allow NPP use free senior high school to blackmail you. Beatrice Annan. And there's photos of Akufo-Addo conferring with France's Grand Officier de la Légion d'Honneur.
Hey, Eno.
Yes.
Do you speak some French that I don't know of?
Small French. With France's Grand Officier de la Légion d'Honneur.
Actually, no, Eno, you did for. I didn't know that. Wow.
Yeah. What's on citynewsroom.com?
That's amazing. So on the citynewsroom.com online portal, Ascent Anti-Gay Bill, Catholic bishops tell Nana Akufo-Addo, President of the Republic. Iyoko declares 6 individuals wanted for financial crimes. Also here, FDA certified rice distributed to SHS, Education Ministry. EC to print ballot papers for Volta and Ahafo regions over serialization errors. Mita Kando has been speaking and he criticizes Baumia's free dialysis. He calls it a political gimmick. Also here, election 2024, police on manhunt for individuals threatening violence. To some more story, Black Stars miss out on AFCON 2025 after Angola draw. Donald Trump sues media outlets in $10 billion lawsuit. And also tree crop diversification project will boost farmers' productivity and income. That's coming in from the Agric Minister. And just some foreign headlines, then we delve into the stories proper. Trump's transition team caught off guard by  allegation. Now, Pete Hegseth is the nominee for Secretary of Defense for the Trump administration. And the story is saying that he's been cut off with some sexual allegations. That's the Trump transition team. Also here, Trump's former lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, turns over his 1980 Mercedes-Benz convertible luxury watch collection and a diamond ring to woman he defamed. Interesting. Woman told House Ethics Committee she saw Matt Gaetz have sex with a minor, lawyer says. So, already it's a busy week for the Trump transition. And finally, some sports headlines. Jake Paul defeats Mike Tyson via unanimous decision of a highly anticipated bout. Wow, 58-year-old versus a youngin, and it set a lot of people talking. So that's it for the headlines. Any stories?
Yes, so I have the Mirror, and there's a story here of the Matrix verse reloading this weekend. Our very own Apioko is, one of Ghana's most captivating poets, and she does the Matrix verse every year. A bit of the story reads, some artists are simply blessed, so blessed you do not know what to do with them. I'm talking about outlook, talent, and versatility. They have got it all. Wait a minute, did I say you do not know what to do with them? Wrong. There's a lot we can do with them. Aside from offering them the right environment to share their gifts, the nation must invest in them. Yes. Invest in them and engage them more within the capacity of the national and international. Can I take you to history? Ghana's first president, Dr. Kwame Nkrumah, gave as much patronage to exposure to Ghanaian artists as he could. On his official trips abroad, President Nkrumah would travel with members of the dance ensemble, high-life musicians, as well as comedians, such as Ajax Buchanan. It was capacity building, it was cultural marketing, it was soft power. Let me come down to the present. The matriarch in today's headline refers to no other than Apioko, the multi-talented young woman who defies easy labeling. This is a woman who could fill up a room at Mervyn Pig simply with the allure of her poetry, but she can do much, much more. At the National Theatre this weekend, Apioko serenades patrons to the 2024 version of her Matrix verse experience dubbed Roots and Blossoms, an evening of poetic immersion. This event promises a powerful stage performance reflecting African heritage, resilience, and growth. And the story goes on and on and on. So the Matrix verse has proven to be a highlight of Ghana's cultural calendar and promises to deliver an evening that celebrates heritage, confronts trauma, and embodies hope through poetry, music, storytelling, and experiential interdisciplinary art. So that's a Apioko for you. So tonight, we'll talk about it more and what's happening in town. But Apioko is in the Mirror, page 11.
Have you seen Apioko's golden mic?
Yes. Yesterday on TV.
Hello, Apioko day form.
Apioko day form. Apioko day form.
Wow. Some health news here because we are being told that prostate cancer can't be prevented. Can't. Charlie, that's serious. So Prof. Joe Oyani, Director of Population Health Science at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, is the one coming through with this. So an oncology and radiotherapy consultant at the Kolebu Teaching Hospital, Professor Joe Oyani, has encouraged men to psych themselves to deal with the prostate cancer menace once they are of age, since it is not preventable. He said prostate cancer was not meant for certain categories of people, but rather all men were susceptible. Prof. Yani was contributing to a panel discussion at a public engagement on prostate cancer organized by the Ghana Atomic Energy Commission, GAEC, in partnership with the Society of Medical Physicists and the University of Ghana Medical Center. The story goes on to say, the lecture formed part of GAEC's 60th anniversary celebration. Other panelists were a radiation oncologist at Kolebu Teaching Hospital, Prof. Werner Vanderpoy, a radiologist at Kolebu Teaching Hospital, Dr. Samuel Isiama, a medical physicist, and of the Comforting Teaching Hospital, Dr. Eric Addison, and Dr. Emmanuel Asante, a urologist at the University of Ghana Medical Center. So the story talks about the vulnerability of men. Prof. Yanni said, although all men were susceptible to prostate cancer, it was more prevalent among blacks aged 40 and above. It could be worse among those with family history because they are at a higher risk of being diagnosed of prostate cancer earlier than expected. Dr. Asante ever played down the research conducted in the United States of America and Australia to the effect that men had to ejaculate at least 21 times a month to avoid the disease. Let me just take it again for emphasis sake. Dr. Asante, however, played down a research conducted in the USA and Australia to the effect that men had to ejaculate at least 21 times a month to avoid the disease. He said that research was misleading. The research was misleading because all the respondents were whites aged 50 and above. And he also found it a bit strange because ejaculation could not only be limited to sexual intercourse, but also masturbation and bedwetting. He therefore cautioned the public to be wary of such research being displayed on social media and rather seek early diagnosis and treatment. So I know that's a story. So essentially, all men are at risk. There's really nothing you can do, but of course, you can guard against some of the risk factors that expose you, right?
Yeah.
Like taking your health seriously, like exercising frequently, like cutting down on excessive alcohol intake, smoking, and all of that, right? And the interesting bit to the story I read was that, there was some research making rounds that if you ejaculate 21 times in a month, you were safe from prostate cancer, right? But it turns out that, according to the experts, that's not really
the case. Interesting.
Some way. Some way.
You just have to, do your checkups frequently so that if anything at all, it'll be caught early.
Serious.
All right, there's a story in the Mirror. Weight loss surgery not shortcut to body enhancement. According to Dr. Aminiampom, who has been practicing medicine for over 10 years, he's explaining that weight loss surgery involved reducing the stomach size to limit food intake and sometimes rerouting the digestive tract to minimize calorie absorption. When this is done, the individual feels full after consuming the smallest amounts of food or liquid. This reduces calorie intake and, over time, leads to weight loss. However, he emphasized that the process was not as simple as it seemed, as it was usually recommended only for individuals with a body mass index of 40 or higher, or a BMI of 35. If there were associated health conditions that needed immediate attention, while this surgical option can significantly reduce health risk, it requires a lifelong commitment to physical and lifestyle changes. So essentially, all the doctor is saying that even after weight loss surgery, you can still gain weight if you don't change your lifestyle and you think that you can continue to eat the chocolates and the pork and all the other things that we eat.
And some more health stories today. It's funny how a lot of the stories are reviewing are health related, but it's important because we need to be safe. Now, Mpox cases rise to 3, one confirmed in Greater Accra region. I think there's a story you found yourself, right?
Yes.
One more case of Mpox has been confirmed in the Greater Accra region, bringing the total number of cases in the country to 3. The first case was reported in the Western North region on September 25, involving a 15-year-old boy. His mother was later confirmed as the second case. Health officials are urging the public to stay vigilant, follow hygiene protocols, and report any suspected symptoms to healthcare providers as soon as possible. The story goes on to say the Ghana Health Service has also stepped up public awareness campaigns and is working closely with local health facilities to ensure they are prepared to handle potential cases. Dr. Dennis Lai, Deputy Director of Public Health at the Ghana Health Service, in an interview with City News, noted that all identified contacts are being closely monitored. Wow, so what, 3 deaths?
No, 3 cases.
3 cases, yes. and 1 confirmed in Accra.
Here in the Greater Accra region. The first one was a 16-year-old in Bia West in the Western region. Western North. And then his mother, a few weeks later, was also confirmed. She was the second case, and now in the Greater Accra region.
We need to just be,
yeah.
keep our environment.
Be vigilant.
Yeah,
Be very vigilant. And they're also calling for, us to re-adopt, if I should say,
the COVID protocols.
Exactly. We threw them away, We threw them away after COVID, So the hand washing, the frequent sanitizer. Do you know how many times people used to wash their hands during COVID?
In the first week of the COVID
pandemic.
The first week we announced the two. I actually wrote a story when
the cases.
It was big. It was like the biggest read story on our website that year, if I'm not mistaken, right? Because it was so big. I think that the network, the website probably even froze because it was something a lot of people dreaded.
Yeah.
Right. So in the week of the first two cases that was announced, I probably used a lot more sanitizer than I'd used my entire life. Right.
Anytime you touch something.
And it was worse during the lockdown period. So during the lockdown, I was still going to work. Right. Charlie, sometimes I think you touch gates, Charlie, Dettol, you touch this, you touch this. It was wild.
Yeah.
For some people, it almost became like
a second nature to them.
Yeah, even more serious than that. But but it's good. I agree with you. You need to go back to the hygiene protocols.
Especially now that we have cholera also.
Yeah.
Sometimes I think cholera, in these modern times, cholera.
Yeah, but there's a lot of filth out there.
Yeah, I visited some communities in Osu because Koliklote has recorded some numbers with regards to cholera. And then I can understand why they have cholera. So they don't have toilets. They all use a public toilet. As to the cleanliness of the public toilet, well.
No, I feel you. Even in
even a refuse dump.
Yeah, there are a lot of slums springing up in some of these even well-developed areas, right?
Yeah.
So if you go to East Legon, for example, there's a well-organized, thriving slum community in East Legon. I'm not even joking, right? So you go there, you realize that very simple things like places of convenience, public restrooms, they're all missing. So they'll ease
because
themselves.
They're not supposed to be there.
True, right? So they'll ease themselves in certain, and people go there for whatever reasons, right? So, if there's a cholera outbreak in an area like that, it won't be surprising.
Yeah.
But somebody would think, it's East Legon, but they don't know that behind the flashiness of the East Legon area, there's a thriving, so
slum.
It's important that our health authorities, I think the Ghana Health Service is doing well.
Oh, yes.
The Ministry of Health itself, Okoboy, surprisingly, they were one of the few agencies or state institutions to be rated highly in the Afrobarometer report in terms of public trust and confidence. So I think they are doing a good job, or they are trying their best. Right. So hopefully they are able to pay more attention to some of these things.
Let me bring you a story in The Spectator that I have been fighting this thing.
Tell me about it.
So, do you know that, when you go to the bank and you fill your forms and you write next of kin, the next of kin has no automatic access to your bank account?
Really?
Yeah.
Whoa.
So that next of kin there does not automatically mean that the person has access to your account should anything happen to you in the future.
So what does it mean then?
It means that you have to now go, they said you have to go seek legal, some POD form.
Yeah, but essentially, he has told the beneficiary, right?
Yeah, but
after seeking the legal
20
clearance.
years.
After how many years?
They said it needs to be in the person's will. And Ghanaians in wills. We wait till we're like...
Yeah, but once it's not, once
it
is you and not any other person, then you are the next of kin. Do you get it?
No.
If somebody in somewhere...
But it's not ABC. It takes a while. And
but even if it takes
for all you
years,
know, that money is what you're going to use for
the funeral or something.
The funeral, the kids'
why
school fees.
Why you put your mind on something? When sign up a policy to...
If it's your husband or your wife, and I'm speaking because a friend of mine couldn't access her husband's account after he passed away.
I think you should bring us a story. But my point is that once you are the one who benefits,
they will benefit,
but you stress.
Yes.
Oh, but
And by the time the money comes, not the legal fees, the car about 10,500.
It also depends on how much is in the account.
It's in the account.
Yeah.
So you're saying that if the account has 1,000 cedis, you should let it go?
No, so you should still fight for it or go through whatever clearance there is. Yeah, I mean, vis-a-vis the stress you're also encountering. But the point is that if it's $10 million, we say that.
But you know, all of this
it's
can be
dependent on
made
the money.
simple. In other jurisdictions, they have something called a POD, a payable on death form. So you fill it in addition to your bank forms. Simple. It solves half of the problems. It solves all of this back and forth. They go to the law court. I promise you.
I want to hear what the story says about next of kin because
it says, let me read it. It is belief of many that the next of kin of a bank account automatically has access to funds if the account holder dies. But this is not exactly so because the next of kin is only a nominee of the account holder who serves as a primary contact in the event where the bank is not able to reach out to the account holder. This came to light at a training program organized by the Bank of Ghana for some selected journalists in Kumasi. Assistant Director Financial Stability Department of the BOG, Mr. Augustine Amoakodonko, explained that the next of kin concept in the banking sector or operation is to trace the whereabouts of an account holder and not who inherits the account. If you are made the next of kin of a bank account by a friend or relative, then know that you do not have automatic access to the funds in the account should the account holder dies. The next of kin should know a lot about the account holder, and that is why in practice many people will use their close relatives. He explained that a customer of the bank has every right to choose a friend who knows much about him or her to be the next of kin, because the main purpose of choosing a next of kin is to provide information on why the account holder is not reachable. Mr. Donko said processes to retrieve funds in an account of a deceased customer was a whole different issue when established that the account holder had died. The 2-day residential program took participants through macroeconomic stability, monetary policy practice in Ghana, inflation dynamics, etc. So there you have it. You're not automatically the one who benefits. Automatically the one who benefits. You are not. Next, I think next of kin means something else in our banking laws.
We need a lot more public education on.
Don't worry. Next week, I'll bring you a reel. I'll definitely bring you a reel of this thing called next of kin and all that it says, because it beats my imagination. It's somewhere. It's somewhere, pa. It's somewhere, pa. Anyway, that's it.
Pretty much.
All right. So we'll be back right after this. Don't go away. Do remember to throw your remote away and stick and stay with Channel One TV. We'll be right back.